Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be episode 2 of the counter-striking series. And the first thing I'm going to go over is how to counter the pole counter. So it's pretty much how to counter your opponent's counter because, sometimes your opponent, they'll start, if you start throwing a lot of round strikes, they'll start leaning back, they'll start fishing for it. They'll start fishing for that pole counter because they know it does a lot of damage. So I'm going to show you guys how I kind of counter that, how I kind of set up some counters, and because if you can hit them while they're leaning back, especially to the body, you're going to do a lot of damage. So let's get him pulling. I'm going to be Vicente here, and Jorge Masvidal, he's pulling. I'm missing hooks. So what I want to do is I want to go to his body. I want to try to catch him right when he's pulling, which it's obviously in a real fight it's going to be different. You're going to have the timing thing. But right now I just got him. I'm going to try to cause a health event here. Get him to lean back. But what I like to do is, feint the lead hook. Come with a body kick. Boom, look. See, that really hurt him. So let's let him recover, or you can you can feint the lead hook. Go to the body. However you want to do it, and of course that was supposed to meant to be a body strike, but so let's try to move him to the center here. So that's pretty much, oops, let's get him to pull again. But that's pretty much what you want to do. Any feint, or you can go to the legs. Let's see if I can get him. Try to time it when he's leaning back. See how much damage that did to his legs? As to, if he was just standing there. So, and that goes for any kind of head movement. Like if you go to their legs, if they're moving the head all around, like you see a lot of guys do that, body strikes are going to be your best friend. So like I said, what I like to do is, feint the lead hook, get them to pull, try to go to their body. Or, kind of odd time them too. You can, boom, he's hurt, and that's it. So that's how you counter somebody pulling. Pretty much is you want to look to go to their body. And also, obviously if you see someone that's just trying to pull your shots, calm down a little bit. Just relax, stop throwing round strikes, because that means, if they hit you with one of those counters, that means they got your timing. So just relax. Depending on what round it is, say it's the first round and he just, try to odd time him. Maybe if you're throwing a lot of jab hooks, maybe jab and then delay the hook. Boom. It's all about, you can mistime your strikes. So that's just like an extra side tip. So let's move on to the next one, and that's going to be block countering. So there's two block counters that, for hooks. One is if Jorge Masvidal throws, since we are both in orthodox. Let me talk here for a second. So if he hits my lead hand, so he has to throw a rear hook to do that. If he hits my lead hand, I can block counter it. Boom, like that. But I have to, so I gotta block the strike. So I gotta block the strike and then let off and throw a lead hook immediately. So let me try to get the timing down here. That's the animation. So now I'm gonna have him throw. I'm gonna have him throw 2 hooks: the rear hook, lead hook, rear hook, lead hook. See if I can interrupt. See how it interrupted his second shot. So this is good if someone's throwing like, what would it be? Jab, lead hook, uppercut, things like that. So let me see if I can get him to throw a. Oops. Well, that works too. Jab, rear hook. As soon as that hook hits, as soon as it hits my lead hand, I want to input the lead hook. Boom. See, it interrupts. It can stop you in your tracks. It can stop your opponent in tracks, but if you time it well. So let's try. Boom. And it can even, obviously cause knockdowns and rocks. But I feel like that block counter, especially online sometimes with, the little bit of input delay, it's not as consistent as this next counter I'm going to talk about, this next block counter. And I think everybody kind of knows about this, but maybe they don't know how exactly it works. But it's the block countering to body hooks. So, say Jorge Masvidal throws a lead hook to the body. So I want to throw an uppercut from that same side. So I want to block, uppercut. And he will not be able to block that shot or anything. Let me turn the health off and stuff because he's just going to keep falling down. So if your opponent's doubling up on body hooks, just pick a side that you want to go to. Block counter. He will not be able, if you time it right, he will not be able, it's pretty much a free shot. Even if he throws his, and blocks. He won't be able to block. See? See how that's sneaking in? Even though I have him block. So you want to hit, so I'm timing it so when he's hitting my lead side, I'm throwing the lead uppercut. But you can time it so, when he hits your rear side, you're throwing your rear uppercut. However you want to do it, but that is how you hit the block counters to the body. Yes, you can just throw an uppercut in there when they're throwing body shots. That works too. I feel like it should not be that way. I feel like you should actually have to get the block counter, but that's just my opinion. So let's move on. And the next one is I'm going to show you guys. This might not be necessarily a counter-striking tip, but I'm sure you guys have had opponents that are just lunging out the way. You're like, what the hell? This guy's all over the place. You're trying to throw shots, and so when you do this, just plant your feet and throw like a jab leg kick. If you have somebody doing this to you, obviously in a real fight, I'd be going past him. But you guys, I'm sure you guys have run into a player that does this. So when you do this, leg kicks are going to be your friends, and also planting your feet, because he can only do that for so long. He's going to have to at least try to plant his feet to engage. Just don't let him, don't let it frustrate you. Do not let it frustrate you when a guy's, doing that. So I'm going to show you guys another thing, too. And this is you can kind of do this. it's what I call cage cutting. It's something, I've learned in real life, like how to cut the cage in half. So anyway, so let's just say, I have my opponent backing up. I'm backing him up, I'm backing him up. All I want to do is step like over here. And then, which way would you go if you were Jorge Masvidal? A lot of people would say they would go to, this way because it's more open, you know? Because, look, if he goes this way, yeah, you can go that way. But for the most part, you're going to get hit if you go that way. So you're going to want to go this way. So this is, so just by me kind of cutting off the cage, I'm gonna dictate where Jorge Masvidal is gonna go. So let's get him back there. Then boom, run into a head kick. Run into a hook. It's all about, placement. Obviously, this would be better shown in a real fight. But that's just a tip, think about where you are in the cage. And like you can kind of dictate where you want your opponent to go. If I cut him off here, he's going to want to go to where, like, the brain's going to tell you you're going to want to go to where there's more space. Because, if he goes over here, there's not a lot of space here. Especially, because obviously I'm not going to be moving both fighters because I can't right now. But, it just looks like there's more space, to this side. So you can kind of dictate where your opponents go. Let me know if that makes sense. I know, I tried to relate, real life techniques to what I've learned in, the real world. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But those are going to be it for today. As far as, counter striking. So let's kind of review. So if your opponent is pulling, you want to go to his body or the legs. Because eventually, they're going to keep fishing for that ball counter. If they hit one, usually, they're going to want, seconds because it's either going to rock you or knock you down. So they're going to want to keep doing that. So that is your cue to change things up. That is your opportunity. All right, you want to pull, so I'm going to feint. I'm going to feint a round shot and go to your body, go to your legs maybe, however you want to do it. But, you know what I mean? You got to pick your shots and you have to look at what your opponent's doing. And, this is a way to counter their counter. And so we went over block counters. Like I said, you can use this block counter if you want. But I feel the more consistent ones are these body shot ones. Throw to the same side, the opponent hits. Whatever it may be. And it's going to do a lot of damage. Right now, I don't have the health on, but you guys saw before that it was causing a lot of damage. And the next thing is, if your opponent's lunging all over the place, I know it's not really a counter-striking thing, but to counter that, you want to, like I said, plant your feet and throw leg kicks. Eventually, for them to want to engage, they're going to have to at least stop lunging. You know what I mean? So, and then the last thing I told you guys about, like I said, not really, it's more of a cage cutting thing, but you can kind of dictate where your opponent's going. You know what I mean? Especially if you have them backed up against the cage, just by going here, it's going to want to make them go, to the right. So you're going to want to throw, to your lead side. It's all about, you can even make them go towards your power side, Get what I'm saying? Boom, Make them go where you want them to. You dictate the fight. And, it takes practice. It does take practice. These counters, It doesn't happen overnight. Trust me. It took me, the longest time to get the pole counter. I never even pole counted in UFC 3. I know today we're not talking about the pole counter. We're talking about how to defend against it. But I'm just saying, like, all these techniques took me a while to learn. So, anyway, guys, I hope that makes sense to you. I hope I at least help somebody out. But yeah, if you guys like the video, please hit that like button. If you're new, please subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.